What's up, Shadowhunters, angels and downloaders alike, and welcome to episode 3 of Erin still doesn't have her shit together. I still don't have an editor, so I'm still uploading these files raw. I just don't have the funds at the minute to purchase an editor because the editor I have only works on one device and you have to rebuy it every time you get a new one. So that's shit. But I'm obviously not going to put off reviewing the new series just because I don't have an editor. I mean, we've been waiting, what, nearly a year for this. So you're just going to have to continue to deal with these raw files that I'm uploading with all my mistakes and my stutters and my pauses. I'm such a top quality YouTuber, guys. Like, these are so right for being subscribed to me. You're subscribed to the correct reviewer here. I think we all know that. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that they actually named this episode Lost Souls. It's a nice nod to the fact that they do follow the books in some way, because this episode, especially with Clary and Jonathan, they're kind of coming into the territory that the book City of Lost Souls covered. I think it's been a while since I've read the books, but I'm pretty sure that this is the territory the City of Lost Souls covered. And I mean, I suppose like the people who are fans of the books won't like that anyway because they don't like anything. But I just thought it was a nice wee nod because it's all the stuff with Clary and Jonathan that's going on is basically the stuff in City of Lost Souls, the book, and just referencing that I thought was a nice wee nod. Since I'm not a book elitist, I thought it was a nice wee nod. Who knows, maybe the book elitists thought it was an insult because it's nothing like the books, I don't know. But I liked it. And speaking of Clary and Jonathan, we're coming into the interesting stuff now, because this stuff that we're coming into is actually very delicate territory, adapting what was in the book to what they're going to put on screen. I'm very confident at the minute that they're doing Clary and Jonathan's relationship correctly. If you've read the books and you know what I'm talking about with Clary and Jonathan's relationship being a bit funny. But I like this brother-sister stuff that's going on at the minute. It seems very, not innocent, innocent's not the right word, but the fact that Jonathan is trying to reach out to Clary and trying to become a proper sibling to her, because that is what she's doing. He wants her to be his sister, but that doesn't make him any less of a crazed psychopath, you know? So we've got that going on at the minute, and I just want to say I'm loving Luke Baines' portrayal of Jonathan. I was very upset that Will Tudor wasn't going to be returning because I hate change. I don't like change, but I think Luke Baines did a fantastic job in this one episode already at kind of portraying Jonathan. Like, you can sense that there's a menace under there, but he's covered it with this doting brother cover to trick Clary. I say trick Clary, obviously she's not tricked. She knows. She knows what's going on, sort of. She knows that he's not who he says he is. I wouldn't say she knows exactly what's going on, but we've seen that the rune that Lilith gave them, it was Lilith, wasn't it? That was like a year ago. the rune that Lilith gave them has basically meant that they can't be too far apart from each other, and any injury that Jonathan sustains, Clary sustains. This was actually different in the book. I'm not going to keep comparing the book, but I just noticed this because I'm not sure if they're going to do it in the show. Maybe they're building up to that, but this never happened in the book with Clary. So I think they're going with the Clary route instead. This was actually Jonathan and Jace who were bound by this rune, and it was a struggle for Clary because she couldn't go anywhere or do anything to Jonathan without hurting Jace. And weirdly enough, I never thought I'd say this, I think that's a bit more interesting in the books because it would have showed that Clary isn't willing to risk someone she loves to escape, because she could have done. This in the show is more like she doesn't want to die herself, which, you know, fair enough, none of us want to die. But weirdly enough, for once, I feel like the book had the better idea with it. But maybe the show's going to go in that direction. I don't know yet, because we're definitely getting the Team Good and Team Evil, if you've read the books you know what that is, situation that's going to be rising up. The cast has been teasing it and stuff like that. So I'm really enjoying the Clary and Jonathan stuff. And I think next week is when Jace comes into the pictures, because we've all seen the set pictures of Jace with Clary in Paris at the minute. So yeah, I'm really enjoying Will Tudor, and I'm enjoying how they're doing the brother and sister stuff, but I'm still being very weary because Cassandra Clare made that weird in the books and I don't want them to make it weird in the show. But they didn't with Clary and Jace, so I'm confident that this is going to be okay. So moving on from Clary and Jonathan, we've got Luke, who has everything figured out, except, God love him, he looks like Charlie in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with his post-meal conspiracy with all the stuff up on the wall. He sounds crazy, but the way I'm sort of seeing things are going now is that he's given Jace this information. Jace is going to look into it. Jace is going to realise that, whoa, fuck, he's right, and he's going to go looking maybe with Luke, I don't know, and that's how he ends up in Paris with Clary, and that's maybe how the Team Evil starts to form. I'm not entirely sure, but that's kind of my theory at the minute. So Luke had it all figured out, of course he did. Like, while everyone else is moping and sad, I mean, I know Clary's dead, they should be moping and sad, but while they're all moping and sad, Luke has this shit figured out. Luke knows what the fuck he's doing. So that's what I think is going to happen there. And then Simon's trying to get the mark of Cain off his forehead, and something that I really enjoyed about this part was that Maya and Isabel were working together to help Simon, because fuck, I keep bringing up the books. I don't mean to bring up the books. I want this to be a show review, but the show does so much better than the books that I can't help it. I want to praise it for that. But, except for that one thing with the Rune and Jace and Jonathan, but that was a very rare occasion. So, Mary and Isabel are actually working together, as opposed to, I don't know if they were exactly rivals in the book, but they were dating Simon at the same time. Yeah, that was a thing. And I don't think they really had any proper interaction with each other beyond that plot line. So it was actually nice to see them interacting, trying to help Simon and trying to figure out a way to sort out this Mark of Cain issue. And they're not being bitchy and they're not being like spiteful to each other. Weirdly enough, it's exactly similar to the Isabel and Clary situation, how they fixed their relationship as well. But yeah, there's a lot of bitchiness in those books, a lot of unnecessary bitchiness. And the show's pretty much fixed that, which is just... I'm doing that right, aren't I? Is that the okay thing? No, that's the okay thing. Oh, for fuck's sake. This is why I need an editor. So, Isabel and Maya aren't being bitchy, which is just a godsend, thank you. And then we've got Alec and Magnus. Magnus doesn't have his powers, he's struggling to kind of cope with that. And he got kidnapped by Iris, the bitch. And she dug into his memories, and that was actually very interesting because we got to see all of his, well, not all of his, but a great deal of his past experiences and his past lives and things that he's gone through. And I really love digging into that. I think the time that they did that with Magnus's childhood, I didn't have my laptop wasn't working, so I didn't get to review that episode, but I love digging into Magnus's past. Not exactly the way Iris did it, because that was just, I just like looking into the different things that Magnus has experienced, because he's an old man and he's experienced a lot, and it's very interesting to look into all that and see all the things that he's done and all the things that he's experienced. I love experiencing all that myself, and because he got kidnapped and all this stuff, and because Mazzy's life was almost risked because of it, he is going to train with Alec. We've seen the photos of that. We saw them last year before the show got cancelled. We saw the behind the scenes video of Harsham dancing while he was, I assume, about to film the scene with Alec. And then of course the show got cancelled, got pushed back a year. So we saw this coming ages ago. So that's going to be in the next episode. Magnus is going to be training to protect himself, which is an interesting concept. I'm really looking forward to that, because he was pretty good with the sword. The sword that Isabel gave him, he was pretty good at blocking all the stuff that Iris threw at him. He just couldn't, like, keep against her magic, which is, like, fair enough. It's magic. You can't really mere mortals like us sadly cannot beat magic, even if we do have a sword that we're good at using. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Magnus copes with this in the future. I think we saw in the trailer that he does get his magic back, which is kind of, I suppose it's fair enough, it was going to happen, but I would have liked to have seen him not have his powers for a good while. Maybe he will, maybe it won't be until towards the end before he gets his powers back, who knows. But I loved seeing Alec and Magnus looking after Madsy, like Alec reading the story, and I want to play Sharks and Minnows. I want to know what Sharks and Minnows is. I want to play it with Alec, but I can't, obviously, he's not real. But seeing all this stuff with them being domestic with each other and looking after a kid, I think they're building up. They were building up in season 3, but I definitely think it'll probably come in the final few episodes of them building a life together and maybe having a child and possibly getting married. We're pretty confident that there's a wedding going on. We just don't know whose, but pretty 199% sure that it's a Malik wedding. Still don't know how I feel about that, but considering the fact that the show is ending, there's not much choice. I can't really complain about things being rushed. I mean, what is it, Sizzy is going to be like, is going to have to come in like a freight train because of this. So we're going to have to wait and see what's coming up. But this episode just made me so sad that the show's actually been cancelled, because with every season things are getting better and better. The film quality, the cinematography, the acting was fantastic. Seeing Jace trying to cope with what he did to Clary as the owl and the fact that Clary was dead, seeing everyone grieving, the acting was just top notch. And I love the fact that they touched on mental health a bit. Like, I think Jace was cutting himself. It was a bit difficult because it was a bit dark on my TV, but I think he was going to cut himself or hurt himself, and he's grieving really badly. And I like seeing that stuff touched, especially mental health in males, because suicide rates in males is like way higher than girls, and it's not really touched on that often. And I think I talked about this when Alec killed himself. Well, Alec did not kill himself when Alec tried to kill himself and he tried to jump off the building. Touching upon mental health and suicide and self-harm and stuff like that. That means a lot to a lot of people. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cough, and I don't have an editor, but I have to. Sorry. So touching on things like that is really important, and I think they did it really, really well. And seeing the grieving process is, I like it. I like that they're doing that. I've always liked when they do stuff like that, because it makes it more realistic. Like, they're not just dying, like our main characters are just dying, and they're not just like, oh, everything's fine, I'm okay. See City of Glass book for that and you'll understand what I'm talking about, or watch my podcast. Get me one of these. Okay. So everything in this episode was done so well, and it makes me so sad because the show's not going to be continuing after this season, and all we get out of it is 2 extra episodes. And I'm just devastated. We're all devastated. I can't properly like articulate how upset this makes me, because this show has been a big part of my life now. Big part of a lot of people's lives for 3 years now, 4 years. It would be 4 years. 4, 3, 2, 1, no, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. And just the fact that it's been cut down, like so many other good shows, like Sense8, I'm pretty sure, I don't know how to pronounce it, was oh no, I can't pronounce it, and I can't write it up because I don't have an editor, oh shit. Loads of shows that are really good are being cancelled for some unbeknownst reason to make room for shit like Riverdale and just crap. Like, we need someone to pick it up like they did with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but this late in the game I don't think it's happening, so all we can do is look forward to this oncoming season and try to enjoy it as we can and not let free fuck ruin it for us. So yeah, good luck with that, Erin. But yeah, that's my first thoughts, kind of. This is the only video I'm going to be making because I don't have an editor, so this is my general thoughts on Shadowhunters episode 11, Lost Souls, and I will see you all next week with my review of the following episode, whose name I don't know, but I will when the time comes. So I'll see you next week, Shadowhunters, Angels and Downwaters like, and remember, try and enjoy the show. I know it's hard, but this is the final season. The least we can do is enjoy it. And please enjoy me reaching to switch off my camera, okay?